Growing up with emotionally immature parents often forces a child into a role that they were never meant to hold, the emotional regulator of the household. Instead of the parent teaching the child how to regulate and process their emotions, the direction flips. The parent doesn't possess regulation skills to teach the child. The child instead learns quietly and repeatedly that other people's emotions are their responsibility. Emotionally immature parents tend to react unpredictably and very disproportionately for the situation at hand. They lack an ability to self-soothe, and they make their feelings the center of the environment. A child reacts and adapts by becoming hyper-aware. They learn to scan tone of voice, facial expressions, and subtle shifts in mood. This is for their literal safety. This isn't done out of curiosity. Eventually, the child often begins to feel that if someone is upset, it's their job to fix it and or they caused it. This isn't logic or accurate. It's conditioning and a trauma response. A child with an emotionally immature parent is often not viewed as a separate person by the parent. And because of this, the child gets confused on what emotions are theirs and what belongs to others. So over time, instead of asking themselves, they're upset, I wonder why, they think, they're upset, what did I do? Even when nothing was done, or if a reaction is disproportionate, or if a situation has nothing to do with you, you still feel that way. Your nervous system still acts as if you're responsible. That's why guilt is automatic. It's not a conscious thought, it's a reflex. The child usually ends up feeling that they are responsible for maintaining emotional stability around them. And if they don't, something bad will happen. Anger, rejection, withdrawal, disconnection, punishment. Fixing, soothing, and over-explaining end up being protective strategies for the child. To start undoing it, we have to start separating responsibility from empathy. When someone is upset or they appear upset, interrupt that automatic assumption with the thought that this likely is not about me. If this were about me, a mature adult has the responsibility of communicating the fact that they're upset with me. You can ask yourself, did I do something inappropriate, or am I reacting to their emotional state alone to evaluate a situation? If you didn't do anything inappropriate, their mood is likely not about you. And even if something you said or did upset them and cause their mood to be dysregulated, that's not your responsibility. They are responsible for their own mood. You're not trying to believe all this yet. You're just creating space between feelings and the mind's conclusions. It takes time to undo these patterns. The most important thing is to consistently change to new behaviors so that they become the reflex. Letting discomfort exist without fixing it is probably the hardest part, especially at first. You may feel tension, guilt, or an urgency to jump in and get the situation fixed, smooth things over. Instead of acting on these feelings, practice sitting with them. They are allowed to feel this. I do not have to resolve it. I'm not responsible for anyone else's emotions but my own. I am not actually capable of regulating anyone else's feelings. I'm not in their body. This retrains your nervous system. Make sure you know what responsibility means. You are responsible for your words, your actions, and your behaviors, your intentions. You are not responsible for how someone else behaves, how they interpret information, or their moods and feelings. This distinction often has to be practiced repeatedly until it feels natural. And expect to experience guilt. Letting go of managing others' emotions initially feels like you're being selfish or careless or doing something wrong. Guilt is conditioning. It's not a sign that you're doing something wrong. If you feel guilt, it is a signal that You're no longer fulfilling a role that your system has come to depend on. Instead of trying to calm them down or comfort them, or diminishing yourself in an attempt to make someone else feel more comfortable, try listening without acting or trying to fix, and responding only when it's appropriate. Eventually, internally, you will begin to feel that someone else's discomfort does not mean I did something wrong, and that I can care about how others feel without being responsible for their emotions. Emotional boundaries are not coldness, they're clarity. Have a good day.